talk and share about learning pedagogies in 2018. So when I say that, it really reflects on 21st century education hype everywhere happening. And now the part is to understand who's really creating 21st century education. Are those the educators? Are those the technicians, the technology advocates, the architects? Who's doing it? While the inquiry was on, I looked into a lot of research papers and a lot of stuff through my organization that I work with, and right in front of me when I talk about education. So I believe that I was advocating the innovative pedagogies, the new style of learning, depending on the experience I had as an educator or the trainer or being in the classroom. And I really thought of meeting up and talking to a lot of people who run schools and what really matters to them. While talking to them, a lot of aspects and a lot of creators, many founders or many renowned founders I met, they were talking about what really kids like to learn, what really children enjoy doing, which method or which way kids really find interesting, how teachers are devoting their time, their life after hours of schools, and working out on the planners, working out on what is to be done or what resources should I really come up with, what is required in those aspects. Talking about the same, there were a lot of papers and a lot of things that gave me few learning methods, methodology to be precise, in 21st century education. One was adaptive learning, open classroom, project-based learning, or problem-based learning. Small story I had heard from my master, and I really want to relate it with what I discovered while I was researching. Is there was a bird sitting on the branch of the tree, one of the trees, say, let's say mango tree or whatever you want to put in. So the bird was up, and there were four people standing under the tree. Now, there was one pandit, one accountant, businessman, and the last one was artist. Let's keep these four. So while they were discussing, they heard the bird started chirping. So Pandit said, "Oh, you know what the bird just said?" So she said, the others were amazed. How do you know what the bird said? He said, "No, I heard it say Ram, Lakshman, Shatrugna." Accountant immediately told him, "No, no, no. I heard birds saying debit, credit, balance." Immediately, the businessman said, "The two of you are wrong. The bird said profit, loss, break even." And finally, the artist said, "No, no, no. Three of you are wrong. The bird is actually praising the nature. It says paintbrush, colors, and canvas." So, do you see? Each person belongs to a different field. Something happens, and each one interprets in a different way. So, like the four individuals did, an architect or a designer will talk about there shouldn't be a classroom or there should be a classroom. A technology person or a technology advocate will give tabs to each child because he believes in that. But I think education has nothing to do with the product. Education has to do with freedom. Education has to do with space. Education has to do with encouragement and inspiration that each child would get in your school, be it whatever building or structure you have. Education has. There are teachers authentically teaching, concerned about education, being in the classroom day and night. They say that, guys, there is no problem. The only thing is about the time. I don't get time to spend with my children. I don't have. I need to see. So there are a lot of different aspects, circumstances, perceptions, views, thoughts on what's not working out. Meanwhile, the summary that I really want to put in right here, or the thought that I discovered, and I think I'm just a voice behind many educationists and many people who are devoting their lives into transforming education and rather really in action of transforming it. by teaching children. We say that let's be open with the learning methodology that we really want to bring in classroom. It has nothing to do with the walls, with the building. Learning can happen. I have a passionate teacher who's really given her life in nurturing citizens. Education has to do with the parents' involvement in nurturing their children and preparing them for life. Education has nothing to do with schooling. Schooling is completely different. So when we talk about education, we talk about them as an individual, as a human being. When you think of innovation, you always think of giving equality, so looking, providing equal opportunity for each child or each learning style person to really come up with what they want. But when I say that I'm really following this approach and that approach, I'm anyway doing the same thing because it might not work with many children as well. So, the ideal way of implementing the learning styles, pedagogy, deriving what you want has to come when your children are really in the classroom. When teacher is observing the children, when she understands what is my classroom dynamics, what are my children looking for, what is the content I need to deliver, what are their interests, eventually then give them the pathway to really explore their own potential and create talents. That's how the world should work. So this is a kid inside me talking about it. So this is just one of the steps. I advocate value education, making out human being systems, and differentiating education. Would I think the video works well, and that's cheapest way to really express the valuable thoughts you have. Thank you so much. You can pour in your thoughts and write to me if you want. I am open to share my number and email IDs. We can discuss it, meet. So I'm based in Delhi. We can talk more on that. Thank you so much. Namaste.